where I undertook a regular medical checkup. Thank God, everything is okay. But let me explain something. It is my tradition to have regular medical checkup in Ghana. However, my doctors felt that for one or two reasons, which required more comprehension, we will go outside the country. Now, according to the Constitution, whenever I leave the country, I have to indicate. But thanks to each and every one of you, I would urge that we continue to pray for all those who decide to go for medical checkup or to go for review. I have a message. The report of the review tell me one thing, that past, the present, and the future. And therefore, I should drive from here to the castle to continue my work. Now, let me tell you this thing. We should all work together. We in NDC, we have a job to do. Let us make use of the facilities which have been given to us. Any other, but they want you to ask. You want to want more pay. You want to want more pay this way or that way. But this has shown one thing. God is in control. May God be praised. Thank you.
Keep watching Amansai Online TV. Yay!
Hola, soy Alba. I'm Alba from Spain. Please keep watching Amansai Online TV.
Amansai Online TV. Our hope is here.
Ebusafia mamunyi na akwaba edeba Amansai Online TV so send the first time out the share channel ya me so obe subscribe obe like na obe share ma afoforo so enye bia hwe betime de wade ntwe nyina so afa comment section hom ya de ebe kenkan ede amount unim say Amansai Online TV de dan ne dan mani je hu na ye dwene ya de bi ye afutu sem ne ye de bi nso esua ade me am di dwuma de ebe so mo median maame adwoaje mfo a na busana da de eye John de Mello ye nyina ye sini twenni ne ho asem na ne da de ye ba bekan ye nyina nim se oye sini twenni atete wo bo ne ho modern pa e wo movie industry ne mu ye pa e na odidi mo na se de obeye politician enya agrokra ma okostande e ma ofeli puto o ma anto ama ne ma ne badane ehuro na amanfo otwehwe ne ade nyame ya adom amadon de Mello na bamambo wo sa okostande biem asese die amanfo no etie ne sufre hu ne mobot adwante wa bele nte se ye toma no omo toma ne kama se de John de Mello dia ba bepiam ne eye enkokọ enkitenkite se de o se poultry farm no beye tete na nia wo hwa na nia briye pa oye watermelon fuo no oye alugun to gui se de enkokọ enkitenkite e na o se obeye ebusiafo wo me enko ne enkohwe video no ba na mambe hu e na make enko mresisie.
Those who are close to President Kufuor are the ones who are enjoying. They have their fingers in every pie in our country. And I'm telling you. And they want to maintain it this way. Sometimes you ask yourself, did they come into power to rob the nation? Do they ever think about the people who voted for them into power? No. Obviously they don't. We have a very onerous responsibility. We need to give Ghanaians hope. We need to let the electorate know that you cannot be a leader unless you have people following you. And that the resources of our dear nation should be used solely for the benefit of the ordinary people. Leadership is about one thing. And in our case, improving the lot of Ghanaians. That is all. That should be the only preoccupation. Nothing else. But what do we see? Buying hotels, getting engaged in cocaine. Look at it. When we started talking about the drug issue, they said we were crying wolf. Now you have a member of parliament languishing in jail here. He brought into this country $6 million worth of heroin. Of course, his intentions must have been very clear. If he had succeeded by now, he would be, is it the 22nd or 23rd presidential candidate for We had by-elections in his constituency, in Kranza. And we had heard stories of how he pumped money into that area. Now, there is only one thing we worship in Ghana, that is money. So sad. It doesn't matter how you acquire it. Now, if you read some of the newspaper stories which come out by mistake, their presidential candidates are just going around buying delegates. Money is not a problem. Money is not an obstacle. And yet, these were people who 7-8 years ago were almost indigent. Where have they got the money from? They are flaunting their wealth. And Ghanaians have begun to ask questions. They want an alternative. And we should provide that alternative. But we should be guided by the experience that is being established now. You cannot go into leadership position and do the same thing. We have struggled when we came out of power in 2001. But by the grace of God, all of us have been able to get settled. You are not now going into government to try and make hay while the sun shines. Put something aside for a rainy day. The rainy days have gone. Yes. This will therefore be a period of sacrifice. Now, I heard my good friend Osafo Manfo praising himself to the high heavens, saying that he's the only person who can beat Atta because he's the manager, he's done this or that to the economy. My brothers and sisters, cast your minds back. When the PNDC came into power, our economy was recording what? Negative growth. All the structures had collapsed. More than 3 million Ghanaians left Ghana. Toilet roll was a luxury at the time. If you wanted to buy clothes and you went to the market, the only indication was that they would give you broomsticks. And the broomsticks would be a pointer to what they were going to give you. PNDC did its best. NDC for 8 years decided to repair the damage. We had financial sector reform. We decided to introduce democracy in the first place. We decided also concentrate on infrastructure, education, on Medicare. We have 3 state-of-the-art hospitals in Ghana. They compare favorably with hospitals anywhere, in Cape Coast, Ho, and Shinyani. Education, we have 3 universities. We increased the number to 5. We decided that there should be a polytechnic in every district. Now, when Osafo Manfo comes and boasts, I ask him, at the time when he was chairman of NIB, managing director of NIB, how much by way of taxes were we collecting? We decided to revamp the revenue collecting structure. How can a minister of finance operate if you are not able to collect revenue? I was for 8.5 years the Commissioner of Internal Revenue. It was my period of national service. We did that to strengthen the foundation for them. At the time that they now, this is one government which has enjoyed more resources than any other government. And they have not been able to account for the resources. And you know the reason? You know the reason why they forgave us our debt? It was because they said that Ghana had become a model of democracy, good governance, etc., etc., and that Ghana must be encouraged. What prompted this decision the fact that we handed over peacefully to them. Yes, the first time. And they thought that Ghana has now settled. So let's give them all the help that they want. This is the reason. And mind you, they also forget that because they wanted us out, in 2000 they wanted us out because they thought that that was a good opportunity for them to change governments, and that would be a positive signal to the rest of Africa. Cocoa price went from 1,800 a ton to 700. Gold went down. We had problems with Ashanti gold fields at the time, while oil prices went up. When you have a monocrop economy like ours, you depend on cocoa. Your budget takes the price of cocoa into consideration, and your revenues from cocoa are cut by 2/3. What can you do? And yet, when the NPP government came to power, cocoa was around $2,000 a ton, and they have enjoyed an average of 1,800 for the past 6 or 7 years. Gold is gone through the roof. Yes. If you add the fact that they have been forgiving their debts, so the money that we would have spent repaying our debts have been made available to them, only because we decided that we love Ghana more than they, and that we would hand over peacefully to them. And now they can beat their chest and say that they are what? Better managers. What have they managed? What have they managed? And they like reading out the statistics. They like reading out the statistics. Inflation has come down, interest rates have gone down, etc., etc. You know, I'm not an economist, but I would have thought that economic development simply means the improvement in the welfare of the ordinary people. Statistics don't put food on the table. Statistics don't pay people's fees. Statistics do not guarantee the welfare of the people. If the statistics don't translate into people's welfare, then you have a problem on your hands. This is the same thing. This is the problem that we are having in the country. They will talk about GDP. Our nation has become a nation of sellers and buyers. Manufacturing sector has collapsed. We couldn't take advantage of AGOA because the textile industry, which is key in Ghana, has collapsed. When we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, all these flags were imported from China. Yes, they were imported from China. And of course, you can guess who imported them. When we had the energy crisis, we still do. Of course, some people instantly became generator experts. If you are not getting investments in Ghana, it is because they have complained. First, it takes a very long time to get the government to take a decision. It isn't that they cannot take the decision, but each one of them is trying to outdo the other in order to get a stake in the investment. You ask some of your foreign friends, ask them. There was this thing about Abdeyime. I know some of them are complaining very bitterly. Talk to those of them who have had the courage to come to Ghana. This is what is happening in Ghana. We have to change this. Truth has taken refuge somewhere. We don't know where it is. But I can assure you, at the appropriate time, it will surface. It is convenient for them politically that they think that it's a positive thing. So a vote for Atta is a vote for Jerry Rawlings. My brothers and sisters, nobody can rewrite history. I will never, or nobody can obliterate the fact that I was Jerry Rawlings' vice president. You cannot also run away from the fact that for about 19 years, he served as the chief executive of Ghana, chairman, and then subsequently president. But President Rawlings has served his term. It is for history to judge him. And I know that history will judge him. But the time has now come for Atta and NDC to move in another direction. You know, the exigencies of the situation demand a new system, a new program. You need to move forward. With Atta as chief executive, the buck will stop with Atta. When they say that the Rawlings will control Atta, I ask them, who is controlling President Kufuor? President Kufuor was a minister in the Rawlings' government. He was a PNDC secretary. A fact that he wants to hide. I was the vice president. I even occupied a higher position than a minister. If he, as a minister, can rule the country, why can't I rule?
Yes.
My brothers and sisters, so many things have been said. Don't believe anything that you read in the paper. If you did, you would not even expect me to stand in front of you because I should have died 3 or 4. But you know, it's God who is in control. Amen. And whenever they make up all these stories, the latest one was that Atta had got diabetes, he had a crisis, he had been rushed to 37 military hospitals, and the area has been cordoned off. My response was very simple. I said, let anyone who wants come to 37. We'll all go there. I will take all the tests, and you find out whether this is true or not. The other thing is that I've been going on an outreach, house to house. So when you go and the people say you, oh, are you the one who's supposed to be dying? I said, I'm not dying. They are going to die. My brothers and sisters, the task ahead, I will tell you, is not easy. We should not be complacent. Nobody is going to hand over power to us on a silver platter. I was in Atlanta. I went to see the Carter Foundation. You know, in 2004, they didn't even send observers because according to the government, Ghana doesn't need observers. I'm not surprised. There were serious irregularities in 2004. They panicked so much that they called a press conference and declared themselves winners. When they did, the results were coming in. My colleagues, there was so much pressure on me. Declare yourself winner too. I have to think very seriously about this. What is going to happen? Because our people were poised to go into the street, and I knew that they would spill blood. I thought about it and said, no. We've gone to court. We are still in court. But my brothers and sisters, my hands now are tied. Nigeria, they sent international observers. Their verdict was clear and unambiguous. It's a sham. It's flawed. They use all the adjectives to condemn the election. What happened? Barely a month, or less than a month after, at the G8 meeting, the powers that be were seen congratulating the Nigerian Prime Minister and the President. In effect, they were endorsing the results. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, it has sent danger signals to all those who want to cheat. And I told the U.S. and the Secretary of State who came to see me, we had about an hour discussion. Then when we finished, he said, Professor Mills, you know, I have a word of advice for you. I think that you must try and tone down your language. He said it's too inflammatory. And when you do that, you won't win international support. I looked at him and said, let me tell you, I'm one of the most moderate voices in NBC. If you want to hear the actual NBC voice, I will let you go. And I said, I'm telling you the things as they are. You come and sit here. Your people must know what is going on. They do. You tell us that in private. But let them appear on TV with President Kufuor. They heap all kinds of praises on him. And I said, whom are you kidding? I told him, if you like, just go into the streets and talk to ordinary Ghanaians. But I added by saying, next time round, my supporters or my followers will not even allow me to open my mouth.
That's right.
It's true. If I do, they will not even listen to me. They won't. Now they know better. They know better. And it is because of the precedent which has been set. They are looking the other way. America wants to establish a military base in Ghana. And therefore they need a leader that they can push around. Atta Mills will not say yes or no to the establishment of a military base. It is for the people of Ghana to determine whether they want it or not. I would call for a public debate, a public discussion on this, not leave it to President Kufuor and his government. Because eventually, it is the people of Ghana who have to live with this. My brothers and sisters, all said and done, I would like to appeal to each one of us to try and assume some responsibility. First of all, unity is very important. I'll be very honest with you. I've not been too happy about reports I've heard about North American branch of NDC. What are we fighting over? Why? Mr. A doesn't talk to Mr. B, Mr. C doesn't. What are we fighting over? If you like, come and join me in Accra, doing the house to house. When you walk for 5 hours, you will then see whether you can insult somebody or you can quarrel among yourselves. If you are working, you won't have time to quarrel amongst yourselves. And please, let us also remember, let's give praise where it is due. Sometimes the way you respond to those who hold divergent views is not encouraging. Let's all remember that some people started the NDC, others came and joined, others will continue. But let's know that we are all one big family. Yes, once you deal with each other in good faith, you can then appreciate the differences in opinion. But when every now and then somebody will call Accra and say this, another person will call Accra and say this, what I tell myself when I hear these things, that those people there don't know what they are about. They have nothing to do. But if you really have something to do, it doesn't matter. I wish somebody would go around Accra and say that I'm Atta Mills, I'm the flag bearer, and do my work for him. I'll call the person and thank him. I will not be angry with him that how dare he call himself the flag bearer. Isn't he doing the work for me? We are so much interested in position, in titles. Titles don't make human beings. Titles don't bring results. It's through collective efforts that we can do something about the situation facing our kids and kin back home. So my appeal to you is that think your differences. There are too many people going on ego trips, and it doesn't do a party any good. Please, if somebody wants to help, let the person help. You know, in politics, you can't draw up a program and then start ticking. We finish with a lot of things happen. You have to act on the spur of the moment. There's a development which calls for an early response.
Ebusian for video no ya kwakosha aba no mo hwe ye John Dumelo enko nketenkete yi hu adwuma na tete wo kire youth no ekwan ya befa so dan den na ekasa adwuma ni oman yi mu enso no wo hwe we mu nyina ya kwan ya befa so ye benye sika poultry nsensem na o kire ekwan ya o fa so eye wo hwe video ne starting na eye ono ane nuaba na odua ni bi no na o se o kwa afom ho na se wa start na wa dibi ama ye hu say yes wono so wadua enema ama na ba o dibie afin so wi na wa kire ekwan a se nkukọ ni bi krampo eyare a ekwan motimi ewo mo mpane mo ho ebeye den eni kwan se wo kọ afom ho e de yare bia koye emoa nti wo kọ wo se wo hwe se bibia ye clean wo boot a wo de be wura nkukọ ni mo dan dan nyina so wo se nkukọ no munya light a be mo ase be mo ho aye den e be ka mo hye nti no o the light ni niema niema ehia se e be ma poultry na akoso nyina e de ko afom ho se e be boa emoa no wo kire se so fa kwa we so na wo de ye poultry enko fa yare bia anase bibia se nkukọ ni be wuwu adeka anase bibi e de abro otu emabunu fo se ya de ya fa ho hye san eniema we nyinam na ya de e be boa ama ye ka se unemployment de bia unemployment no so wo ye poultry na wo ye mfudie te se watermelon ni ade na be boa wa ma wanya sika paaye na me kam se ha na brebe ma kwan ma dwumade ni nyina si aha ya Amansan online TV e na wo hwe wo betimi a subscribe na wa like afi so be share ma foforo so enya bia hwe wadwenkyere nyina so de fa comment section wa ye be kenkan e de ama o kama Mami adwa jemfo a na mdi dwumade e be som mo makra mo bye bye